I feel like we spend too much of our lives waiting on life to happen. Sometimes we need to start being the life instead of trying to see it. And what that basically means is, instead of trying to posit so much life within experiences and trying to see everything around you and gain your perspective in that and gain your value in that, start giving your own value to those things. Start projecting outward what you wish to receive in turn. I feel like a lot of our lives is about reaction. It's about, how we feel about things, how we feel about something. I feel like it is integral to how we experience it. Like if you generally like math or generally like any subject or anything in your life, when you're doing that something, you're going to enjoy it. And I'm not saying it's easy to just, adopt a different connotation on something you already previously disliked. What I'm saying is, with the things within our control, which is our reactions and how we think about things and connotate them in our heads, I feel like we should take that effort and take that time to connotate it in a light that's going to benefit us. And I think that, the main thing that's been helping me, because I feel like in the past, I don't even know, the past month or so, I've developed in ways I haven't even thought of previously. Like what I used to think was like my philosophy and how I handle my like spirituality and whatnot is entirely different. Before it was just kind of a mundane, I think all the time, I think thoughts, I'm deep, and that much was true. But in a greater sense, I feel like a lot of it isn't a thought thing. It's more so a feeling. And what I've been able to deduce, what I've been able to come to is I started feeling that appreciation for myself. I started feeling how I wanted to feel about myself. Like how I wanted to feel about the world, I started feeling about myself. And this is a sign to sort of go all in. I feel like there's too much wasted time. We got to take the first step eventually. And I feel like, I took my first step over the break and I started just doing stuff that I like to do. Just doing stuff that, I wasn't, that maybe I was previously ashamed of doing. I'm not saying crazy stuff now. What I'm saying, like, like I'm into poetry. I'm into a lot of art, music. And I wasn't really trying to produce that out of like fear of how I was going to be received. But what I've come to realize is like, as many people view your stuff, as many people that you see on a daily basis, you keep who you want close and everyone else is going to be rather finite, in my opinion. Like, and I like to put it in like a perspective of years, as much as I don't like the concept of time and how it messes up our perception of ourselves and our perception of our change. I feel like using it in a way like 5 years from now, I won't care. 3 years from now, 1 year from now, I won't care. 2 months from now, I probably won't care. So why not put this out here now? I feel like most of our anxiety comes from, how we feel in relation to that moment in like a short amount of time after. Taking that first step now and just like positing enough in yourself to truly start to grow. It's about self-appreciation and self-love. And I haven't really I touched on this topic grandly, but I haven't really gotten the opportunity to really get into it. Self-love, I feel like it's not necessarily just looking in yourself in the mirror and saying, "Oh, I love you." To me, it's doing all the things you appreciate and appreciating yourself enough to sort of change your brain chemistry about it. Like I realized that a little bit of change in me when I looked in the mirror, because I used to suffer from pretty bad acne. I still have a bunch of scars I'm trying to get rid of. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, dang, like once I get rid of these scars, I'll be even greater. And that like even greater part showed me like a little bit how different I was than previously. Because previously I might have said, oh, I'll be great then. But like positing that you're enough now, or feeling exactly where you want to be, I feel like is integral to getting there. Like, I like feeling like the highest version of myself, and that all starts with realizing where you want to be and where you want to go and how you want to be and just conducting yourself then. Stop trying, start doing. I feel like a lot of us try to get to a point rather than just being there now. And I feel like that's the power of the present moment. That's the power of right now. Who we are is nothing but the reaction to our external circumstance and stimulus. Control the reaction, you control the person. If you control how you react to yourself, how you react to your own thoughts, you essentially change who you are. And I went from reacting to my thoughts in the negative light, like, oh, I need to get rid of these thoughts. I would meditate for hours on them for a long time, just trying to get rid of the cycle of thoughts. And I realized it wasn't the thoughts that were inherently bad, but my reaction to them, how I connotated them and how I allowed them to be a part of who I was. Like I would, that focus on them, trying to get rid of them, I feel like is detrimental. It makes it worse almost. It's as if, by trying to focus on it so much, you're like only bringing that much in. Like, he who squinches eyes in search has obscure vision. More we focus on one object, the more we lose everything around it. And then focusing on stuff we don't like about ourselves, stuff we don't appreciate, we lose all the good things. And when you don't have that good perspective, I feel like we're unable to flourish, unable to be who we are without any like being held back. Like, I'm not necessarily saying like in the past I felt like I was being held back in my own expression, but the level of comfort that I feel and just how I express myself, how I am, and this is all just from like taking that first step in and really committing to getting to myself, and that's a pretty grand statement. Like, what does that even mean, to get to yourself? I mean, figuring yourself out, taking the time to get to know yourself. And part of it is the isolation. Over break, I had a nice little chunk of time where I just was by myself, exploring my passion, exploring what I like. I would listen to music just for listening to music's sake, watch music videos just because I wanted to see the art of it, listen to poetry, listen to this, that, and the other, just for the sake of doing. Being so present within those actions, I didn't have time to overthink everything else going on. There's a certain comfort that comes with not being in your mind and being in the present moment. In that isolation, I feel like it's something everybody needs. But I realize that a lot of people fear that loneliness, that solitude. And what I find out is like, you don't really fear the solitude as much as you fear who you are in solitude. People don't like being alone with themselves, in my experience, or at least in my experience. I didn't like being alone with myself because I thought my thoughts were me. I thought, the negative repetitions would continue or whatever may be. But the more I continue to be alone, the more I allow myself to just appreciate my own space and appreciate who I was, the more I was able to just step out of there and be like holistically me. Like, I still feel like there's a lot of room for growth in my opinion, for me. And I feel like that will never change. I feel like who you thinks the journey is over is the one that's truly lost. So I feel like I always have to be on that up and up, that constant upkeep. But that doesn't mean I don't love and appreciate who I am right now. And that's part of it. Accepting who you are when you're changing. Loving who you are during the change, during the journey. You can't just love the beginning and the end. You can't love just the end result. Because if you just love the end result, you'll probably never get there. There's no stability in that. What I'm saying is, we waste too much time. We waste too much time thinking and anxious and worried about, maybe what might happen here, what might happen then, but mostly anxious about how we relate to the world around us. How we relate to ourselves, our friends, our family. And part of it, I feel like part of that uncomfortability is from not being genuine to yourself. In a way. Not to say people are inherently fake, but some of the ways I conducted myself previously, I feel like weren't necessarily exemplary of me. Even like stuff having to do with my channel, my philosophy, my writing and stuff, like I was super reluctant to go on my own platform, like my regular Instagram, and just post my stuff. Because, like it's hard to be connotated. It's hard to be vulnerable and put yourself out there, especially when I feel like we're deriving our worth from outside sources. And that's why I feel like you have to start looking within, getting inside yourself. So when you're looking outside, when you're putting yourself out there, it isn't so much about how are they gonna react. It's like, for me, it's like I mess with my stuff so much nowadays that I'm like I'm editing it. I'm like, I love this video. Like, even if it doesn't, help somebody, I'm still like, it helped me in a way. Just being able to express that to myself, like affirmation, that I know how to, get better every and every day. So I appreciate, all of y'all who have subbed to the channel recently. I feel like everybody has their own journey. I have mine. And I just appreciate having the ability and the platform to kind of share my experience, and hope it helps, somebody who's watching. Like a friend came to me today and told me that a friend of theirs watched my videos and it actually really helped them. I just appreciate, I love that. I feel like that's what it really should be about. I feel like I learn more from other people than I ever do like from myself. And I'm not saying like just in taking their information, just how I interact with them. Like, you learn a lot from your reactions to other people. You learn a lot about how you feel about yourself. Like I found myself being super envious about a lot of stuff. Nowadays, not so much. And it was partially, I feel like, dang, this video might be a little long, but I feel like partially it's because of how I felt about myself. Because, like, you only can have that negative connotation towards people when you want them to be like that. When you want it to be like that. Once you stop, once you have enough within yourself, you don't even feel the need to negatively connotate anything. Things really just are as they are. And I feel like that's like the first step in just getting there. And there, I don't know where there is. I don't. But it's the first step in getting there. And becoming yourself and becoming better. And going all in to yourself. I feel like something needs to be addressed though. Thank y'all so much. I'm beyond appreciative of all the support I've been getting on my last video. It's been a long, tumultuous journey. I'll say that. But I'm really appreciative of those who have stuck around, those who are new. I love y'all too. All the support I'm getting from other communities, other creators. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Hopefully I'm not gonna say too much. You feel me? But thanks again. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're treating yourself like someone you're trying to help. Because at the end of the day, you're the only person that's going to be there for you 100% of the time. So, be the person for you wish you had, in a way. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself appreciation. Look yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself you look good. Do a push-up. Tell yourself nice job.